Hey, what's going on, guys? Aphectz here, and today I'm back with another video. Now today we have a division video, and today we have a build video. Now this is an easy, simple build. It is a hybrid build. I like to call it the assault rifle hybrid build. Basically, you can see the gear score is pretty low because I'm still have this piece that's 300 because I need a replica of this exact piece, the exact health, a higher health roll, and then the same talents. Now I can reroll health to it as well, like a higher health on it, but I need the same exact talents, right? Like this one, it won't do because it has a cooldown talent. But all right, so basically, let me go over this build, right? And let me show you how you guys can perfect it, what I'm still looking for, right? Okay, so first off, we're gonna start with the gun. The gun basically is you need an assault rifle with accurate on it, and basically the last talent, the third talent doesn't matter, but you want accurate on it. And the first talent, you're gonna want close and personal on it, or you're gonna want like something like a ranger or rate of fire. Ranger is gonna be really better, or rate of fire is gonna be better on it, or close and personal. Those two, you're gonna want like ranger, rate of fire, or close and personal. The strained is not really going to be effective on this build, because this build you're going to be having more than 5. You see how you need 5 offensive traits on this build, on this with this you have so many offensive traits because of how you're stacking like different damage weapons, damage attachments and offensive traits on this, so it's not going to actually work. So for the second weapon, you're going to need a rifle. I like having ranger on the rifle just for the simple fact that you keep ranger on the rifle and you kind of keep the optimum range high, and you can actually get a lot of extra weapon damage. For the second thing, I like accurate. I'm gonna re-roll this to accurate. The magazine capacity doesn't matter because it's only 4 extra shots, but accurate is always better for like rifles and stuff like that, so the inside of the crosshairs, they close up and there's less space between them. Now the third talent doesn't matter, but if you can get god rolls, you can get god rolls. Like accurate, you always want to have accurate if you're using an assault rifle, and yeah, pretty much all the time. So like ideally it would be accurate, ranger, and then whatever a third talent would be that's really good. If you could find one, you could find one. So this one would be good too, rate of fire, ranger. But yeah, so basically, and I have these accurate, so I'll re-roll them and recalibrate them into one of those. I just need more credits. I only have 145, as you see in the corner. Now for the build, now pretty much the build, I'm gonna go over the stats first. My gear talents are these, all of them. I'll show you guys what you guys can change and interchange on this build. The only weapon talent that's not available is strained. Now if you were able to get strained on your gear, this would make this build even better, but it's not too much crit, and I'll show you guys like another way you guys could do it that I'm gonna work on soon, just not yet. Now I have basically 19.5 crit chance, 91% critical hit damage, 33% headshot damage. I have 13.4k weapon damage, and that's with this build, that's with this gun, which is the assault rifle, and basically yeah, we have 20% accuracy, 20% stability, 15% reload speed, and we have 15% assault rifle damage, 25% rifle damage, 71% damage to elites, and then you see the all weapons bonus damage is 6.5%, so that makes me do more damage. I got 149k armor, 32k health. Now the 149k armor and 32k health, I'm going to show you why it's so low, and the reason why it's so low is because these knee pads are 426 and this holster's 300, because I still need to actually get, I need to get the same exact roll on this. So yeah, that's why, and this is the best roll that I had. It needed critical hit damage, I needed health on it, and it to be tanky, and I needed precise on it. So first off, we're going to go into the build, right? So the build is basically going to be, you're going to want to stay around 20% crit, for the simple fact that weapon damage, and I think weapon damage and headshot damage does more damage than crit if you're using if you're not using a real crit hit build. But with the thing about crit and weapon damage is that when the reason that I know in division, right, in terms of PvP aspect, raw weapon damage, like crits, is really good in Division, right? Like critting a third of my bullets is really good. If I have a cold clip, right? Well, a fifth of my bullets, right? If I have a whole clip and I crit, you know what I'm saying, 6 times, that's a pretty, you know what I'm saying, especially like on the urban MDR, which is really good. Like if you crit a lot, like that's really gonna help your build out a lot. But I do think raw weapon damage is better, so I'm gonna switch over to that soon for this build, but I'm working on another build as well. But I do think raw weapon damage and headshot damage might be better for a build like this. But I'm gonna show you guys what I have, and you guys can kind of mimic it and interchange it. And then like I said, guys, my build update videos are gonna be just like this. So it's gonna be me theory crafting and working. I don't really take people's builds. I always theory craft myself. So all builds are of my own, pretty much. So first, you're gonna want a mask with damage to elites and like as high as it could possibly roll. I've seen it roll up to 37%. So you're gonna want as high as damage to elites as you can roll. It doesn't really matter the geared set, but that's what you're gonna want. For your backpack, you're gonna want damage to elites as well, as high as it can roll crit chance, as high as it can roll crit hit damage, as high as it can roll weapon damage. Yeah, the same exact thing. Now instead of crit hit damage, you can try to get one that has headshot damage on it. Like I told you guys, I'll be putting like I'll be telling you guys stuff that you can put on yours that will make it probably better, because I'm still working on finding stuff like that. So like something like crit hit chance, like weapon damage and headshot damage. Do I have one that's weapon damage and headshot? No, weapon damage, crit hit damage. Like this one would be weapon damage and headshot damage, right? I mean crit hit damage, right? So I would basically change the crit hit damage to headshot damage, and that could, you know what I'm saying, that could work right there. So you're gonna want to have 3-piece overlord sediment or overlord armaments, so you can have 10% rifle damage to increase that, and then the total armor will increase and the damage to elites to make you tanky. So basically you get 2 rolls, you get a health roll, and then you get a assault rifle damage, or you can have rifle damage on it. Now I would like the assault rifle damage because I feel like I already have a lot of rifle damage. But if you also, another thing that you guys can do, you don't want headshot damage. Like if you play on console and know that you're going to be doing more raw damage to the body because you body shot way more, you just get devastating, which is 5% more weapon damage, which is better. Or you get surgical, which is 8% more crit chance, so you crit more. Now that's another extra thing that you can add. You know what I'm saying, my build is not perfect yet, but it's because I need better stuff, and it's just more gear grinding and more grinding. So these knee pads, you can pick these up at the settlement. I have another video on it. I think it's the second settlement. I think it's this one right here. You can pick those up at the settlement, and basically those knee pads, they basically already come with crit chance rolled, already come with damage to elites rolled, and it's the overlord and armaments. It's almost a god roll if it was higher gear score and had higher armor. So that's why like I'm a little down on like armor and health, but it's a really good roll right there. You want the crit chance, you want the damage to elites, and it's a high crit chance roll. Even my other gear, 6.5%. My other gear is 6.5%. It's a high crit chance roll too. So even if you wanted to just get if you just wanted to get it, right, just to have it, just so you could re-roll the crit chance on it, it would be a good pickup. So you want a 3-piece overlord armaments. All right, so ideally in this gear set, you would want 3-piece overlord armaments, 2-piece badger, and 1-piece fenris. So that's what this build would basically you would want ideally. So with this fenris, you're gonna get 10% assault rifle damage, and you're gonna want crit hit damage here, and you're gonna want a high health roll. Now I can re-roll the health because I haven't re-rolled anything. So you re-roll the health basically to 5,000. You re-roll the health to 5,000 or 6,000 right here, and boom, you have higher health. So you want the health to basically keep you tanky, and then I'll show you guys why you want the health more than the armor. Because you want the health more than the armor because right here is the bread and butter of the build, which is a overlord armaments chest piece. You can get whatever chest piece you want, as long as you want to have 3-piece badger, you want to have 3-piece overlord, 2-piece badger, 1-piece fenris. But if you don't, you see how I don't have everything like that, so you just make sure you want to have 3-piece badger, right? So this is the bread and butter of this build is berserk. 10% weapon damage for every 10% of your max armor depleted. Basically what that means is that you want to stack health. You want to stack health, right? stack health more than armor. So when your armor depletes, it depletes kind of fast, but then when it depletes, you can basically just start just busting at them, like, you know what I'm saying, start going crazy on them, and you're just gonna, your damage increase, your DPS is gonna go up so much, and basically like it's gonna make your rifle start doing way more damage, and your assault rifle do way more damage. And this is why I call it a hybrid build, because of the stats, like you're stacking headshot damage, and you have crit hit damage, and you also, you know what I'm saying, and you also have 15% rifle damage and 25% rifle damage bonus. So you're really just stacking a lot. So you're going to do a lot of damage. And then the crits are going to come in at 20%, which is going to be a decent amount. But I don't think 20% is, that's why I said, guys, I don't think 20% is fully like important enough to stack it overall weapon damage. Like if you were to stack, you see how like, but then I have 100% crit damage, right? And 133% headshot damage. That means I be critting elites for 200k to the head. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's worth it in terms of raw DPS overall. But if you like critting, and you do get satisfied when you hear the number, like you get the numbers of 110k to the head, 200k to the head with the urban MDR, which is a rifle that only does 30k damage pretty much, and you get those crits to the head on elites and stuff like that. So it's like, do you want to actually like risk out on not having that, or do you want to just keep hitting like a straight 80k, consistent 80k to the head every time? You know what I'm saying? Like it's pick your poison. So I think there's a couple things I need to tweak in my build, but like you said, precise. So let's go over the build again. Mask, you want the highest damage to elites roll with hard hitting damage to elites. Backpack, you want as best as you can roll it. I would change the crit hit damage for headshot damage, and you want damage to elites. And self-adjusting, you can have self-adjusting, but I would rather have like something like, how would I show it? I can't really show it, but I would rather have something else than self-adjusting. Gloves, you want precise. You can have precise, or you can have weapon damage, or you can have surgical. Now, I feel like weapon damage is better. Knee pads, you want hard hitting as well for damage to elites. Holster, you want precise, or you can have precise, or you can have raw weapon damage, which is, I think, is better. Raw weapon damage. I think if you have the weapon damage on the gloves and the holster, this build is better. So, and then for your final, your chest piece, you want berserk on it, and you want to have your best rolled crit hit damage, weapon headshot damage, and crit hit chance. Or you can have crit hit damage, headshot damage, weapon damage, and then crit hit chance, or whatever you want to have. Now, you probably want more crit hit chance in like on the backpack, the chest piece, and then the gloves if you were gonna keep how I have my build, because you can easily stack crit hit damage with the scopes and stuff like that. I'll go over now. For the urban MDR, I use optimal range scope. That's going to increase my optimal range by 25% and then reduce my critical hit damage. Now, the reason why optimal range is so important in this game is because, right, the optimal range also increases your critical range in this game, and they don't really tell you that. Now, your critical range is the effectiveness at what point you can crit, right? So, what you mean? So basically, let's say I'm 40 meters from somebody, right? And that's the optimal range. Let's say 25 meters is the optimal range, and that's where damage starts dropping off, right? You can see how right there, it's about that's probably like 25 meters when the damage starts dropping off, where you see the damage drop off in the right corner of the screen. Now that damage drop off probably drops off at around 30 meters. Now the optimal range will increase that by 25%. So 30 meters, right? You see the critical strike range is 10 to 61 meters. Now, if I'm out of that range, a little extra optimal range is going to really help me. And it's going to really bring my damage up. And it's going to keep the damage up. It's going to keep the critical range up. Now, alternatively, right, if you're stacking weapon damage and headshot damage, you use this scope. You get this scope from being a sharpshooter. I'll go over that in a second. But I want to, let me just go over this first. You use this scope, and you're going to increase your headshot damage, and then you're going to decrease your stability. Now, that's alternative, you could do that. But the crit hit damage as well, short grip crit hit damage, and then reload speed. Reload speed doesn't really matter. So Yeah, but if you weren't, if you were just stacking raw weapon and headshot damage, you would use this accuracy one. The stability doesn't matter because you want to keep it accurate more than stable. You want to keep it accurate because it's easier to control stability, right? Probably not on console, but it's easier to control stability. You can actually control stability. Accuracy and bloom you cannot control. That's the little inside reticles of where the bullets are going to go. You can't control that. That can just go wherever. So for the critical hit damage and minus 10% stability, this is perfect. You can use this, but if you're stacking on it, like I said, if you're stacking a weapon damage and headshot damage, like I told you, you can do on this build, you can use accurate, which is 20% accuracy and 5% minus 5% damage to elites, which is perfect. This is probably one of the best. This is something I would even use on this build because minus 5 damage to elites is nothing, but 20% accuracy, you literally have a talent that gives you 15% accuracy. So you're getting a talent and you're only losing 5% damage to elites, which is nothing. You don't fight a lot of elites in this game unless you're doing like missions on challenging and stuff like that. So for that, I went over that. And for the magazine slot, I don't have a good magazine yet, an extended mag, so I'm not using a magazine slot. Now, I would use the optimal range one, but you're losing 20% optimal range for only 20% stability, and stability is not super important, especially on a rifle. On an assault rifle, yes it is, but it's not on a rifle. Headshot damage, 15% headshot damage is not a good trade-off for 10% damage to elites in my opinion, so I'm not using it. Now for the assault rifle, I'll show you guys that, and then I'll go over into the sharpshooter talents. Now for the assault rifle, I do have strained, but I have way more offensive talents that I can't use it, so but the accurate makes it work. And so I have the same thing, optimal range. You can have optimal range if you were stacking headshot damage or weapon damage, use this one. If you're not stacking crit, this one, I do have this mag, minus damage to elites. I don't know why I have this mag. I'm going to take it off. I don't like that magazine because I feel like the trade-off is not as good. But if you are stacking weapon damage and headshot damage, I think it would be better because it would basically do way more raw damage. Now critical hit damage and minus 10 stability, perfect. You're just adding critical hit damage to your gun, which is just like I'm saying, because I have the crit form of this build, I think it just makes it perfect. You're adding critical hit damage and minus 10 stability, and in the short grip you're adding critical hit damage and you're losing reload speed. The reload speed is not a big deal. Literally lose 15% reload speed. That makes the reload speed go down. That makes the reload speed go down about what, 0.3 seconds. That's not a big deal. So for the extra critical hit damage. Now that is pretty much all for that. For now, we're gonna go into the last thing. Sorry guys, it's taking so long. I'm trying to explain everything because I know there's two ways you can build this build. Now you're gonna want to have sharpshooter. Now sharpshooter is basically, it's a little tree specialization that you get at level 30. Now basically, I mean, you shouldn't be making a build unless you're level 30. So you guys probably already know about this. Now I don't have it finished yet, but the main things that you're gonna want is the 15% increased rifle damage right here, right? Yeah, that's the main thing. You're gonna want this digital scope. That's for the headshot scope, the 45% headshot damage scope, which is huge. Especially if you're running weapon damage and headshot damage raw and not using any crit. You're gonna want to use that even more, right? And yeah, so, and if you're not running any crit, right, if you're gonna do the raw headshot and weapon damage, you can also, instead of using the devastating, you can also use this right here, compensated. Now that I was on a stream, shout out to Solid FPS, but he was basically doing a stream and showing what happens when you have 0 crit chance, and the weapon damage goes up to about 10 to 20%. I think it was about 15%, but it's around anywhere in there. So that is going to be more raw weapon damage than just the 5% right here. But you know what I'm saying, that's if you're having no crit at all, if you're just doing straight raw weapon damage. But so that is if you know what I'm saying, straight raw weapon damage. You're 100% going to want this right here, 50% increased rifle damage. You're going to 100% want this right here, 25 increased headshot damage. 100% going to want right here, 30% increased reload speed. And 100% you're going to want right here, 30% increased weapon stability. Now, and faster reacquisition of targets. Now that might be accuracy too, but they don't say it. A lot of things in this game they don't say, but you just have to like learn and infer by just testing. Now everything else in the tree is just, I have armor kits repair 50% and remove status effect because that's just what I like, and then headshot kills drop signature weapon ammo and stuff like that. That's what I like because I like to use my signature weapon ammo. And then you have group members gain closer to enemies than you gain 10% headshot damage. That's if you play. I usually play this game duo a lot of solo. Extra armor gained and covered. That's because I play solo. And then whatever. But the must things is 30% reload speed, 30% stability, and 15% increased weapon damage, and 25% increased headshot damage. That's pretty much the build, guys. Like I said, you can either build it like I have with the crit chance. I'll go over it again, or you can build it just straight raw weapon damage and headshot damage, which is probably better. But thank you guys for watching the video. Sorry it was long, but that is basically the hybrid build. It's an easy build to make. It isn't hard to make. You can ideally you want to have 3-piece Overlord animants, and then you want to have 3-piece Overlord and 1-piece Fenris, and then the other two, the mask and the gloves, like the mask and the backpack, they are not what I want. But you would ideally want to have 2-piece Badger Tough as well. But you want to make sure you have Berserk. Those are the bread and butter to build, like I said. But thank you guys for watching the video. I'm currently working on a new build. It's basically a crit healing build. It's going to take me a little bit to farm, probably a couple days to farm fully. And when I finish that, I'll be happy. But thank you guys for watching the build. Build videos coming soon. This is build update video number 2. The best build in the game. The best hybrid build in the game. Rifle and assault rifle damage. Easiest build to make. Simple, easy, effective. I'm out. Peace. Like, comment, and subscribe.